They were sold to us as the perfect car, right? The ultimate bridge technology. You get the electric for your daily drive, the gas for road trips, the best of both worlds. So, what went wrong? Why are plug-in hybrids turning out to be, well, a huge letdown for the environment? So, that's the big question we're tackling today. Are these cars really the smart, practical step towards an all-electric future we were all hoping for? Or are they actually a flawed compromise that's making things even worse?
I mean, the promise is so appealing, isn't it? Just picture it. You're gliding silently through your city commute, zero emissions, all on clean electricity. You get home, plug it in just like your phone, super easy. But then the weekend hits and you want to go on a road trip, no problem, no range anxiety. You've got that trusty gas engine ready to go for hundreds of miles. That was the dream, the whole sales pitch of the plug-in hybrid.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Every single one of those benefits, the clean air, the money you save on gas, it all comes down to one simple action. You, the driver, have to actually plug the car in regularly. If you don't, well, then it's not a hybrid at all. It's just a regular gas car that's lugging around a very heavy, very expensive, and very useless battery. And it turns out that one simple action, plugging in, is the big weak link in this whole chain. Get this, studies are now showing that in the real world, these plug-in hybrids are spewing out about 3.5 times more emissions than what you see on the sticker. 3.5! That is a huge gap between what was promised and what's actually happening on our roads. So you're probably wondering, where does a number that big even come from? Well, it comes from a massive new study out of Germany. They looked at data from almost 1 million cars. And here's the important part. They didn't just ask people how often they charged. No, they got the data straight from the vehicles themselves. The real, hard data on how they were driven and, this is the key, how often they were actually plugged in. And the results? Yikes. They're pretty damning. Just look at this. A huge majority of drivers were only plugging their cars in every once in a while, or, not at all. The one single habit that makes the entire concept work, yeah, most people just aren't doing it.
And this slide just shows you how wild the differences can be. On the one hand, you have Toyota drivers. They got about 44% of their energy from electricity. And that kind of makes sense, right? If you buy a Prius to save on gas, you're probably going to plug it in. But then, look at the other end of the spectrum. Porsche drivers. They used electricity for, wait for it, just 0.8% of their driving, less than 1%.
Let's just try to wrap our heads around how small that Porsche number is, because it's pretty wild. It's like the average Porsche owner charged their battery, not even to full, just less than halfway, once, over the course of 2 entire years. I mean, at that point, they're not using the plug-in part of their plug-in hybrid at all. So, what is going on here? Why are people buying these expensive cars with this amazing feature and then just completely ignoring it? Well, it turns out we might be blaming the wrong people. The problem might not be the drivers. It might actually be the cars themselves. A lot of these first-gen plug-in hybrids, they're basically just gas cars with a battery crammed in, and it really shows. The batteries are tiny, giving you maybe 20, 30 miles of electric range. That's barely enough to run a few errands. The electric motors are kind of wimpy, so anytime you really step on the gas, the engine has to roar to life to help out. Heck, even just turning on the heater in the winter can force the gas engine on. The whole electric experience just feels compromised. It's not the real deal. And honestly, this quote from one of the articles we looked at just nails it. It says, "Why bother plugging in?" is apparently a question most PHEV drivers have asked themselves. And you can totally see why, right? If the car is just going to fire up the gas engine anyway, and the electric range is laughably short, why would you bother plugging it in every single night? The payoff just doesn't feel like it's there. Okay, so it's pretty clear the emissions benefits are not really happening for most people. But the problems with this whole experiment go way beyond what's coming out of the tailpipe. So what are the real-world knock-on effects? Well, first off, that whole idea that these cars would ease people into the habit of charging, that's clearly not happening. We're actually getting worse air pollution in our cities because these are heavy cars running on gas. And what about the drivers themselves? They're literally just hauling around hundreds of pounds of dead weight, which actually makes their gas mileage worse. And to top it all off, these drivetrains are super complex, which can mean more trips to the mechanic and bigger repair bills. It's kind of a lose-lose-lose. Okay, so if that design is so full of holes, is there a better way to do this? Well, some automakers think so. They're trying something called an extended range electric vehicle, or EREV. And the whole idea is to flip the script. It's designed to be an electric car first. You drive on pure battery power all the time. And only when that battery is completely empty does a small gas engine turn on, and its only job is to work like a generator to recharge the battery. It never actually drives the wheels. Now that's definitely a smarter design, for sure. But it still suffers from the exact same fundamental problem. You don't have to plug it in. And that kind of brings us to the bigger picture. Because while all of this has been going on, the world of fully electric cars has been moving at lightning speed. Public charging networks are popping up everywhere, and charging is getting way faster and easier all the time. And that really leads us to the final big question, doesn't it? As EV charging gets faster and easier and more available, do we even need a gas engine backup anymore? Is it worth all the extra cost, the complexity, and the compromise? Or was the plug-in hybrid just a bridge to nowhere, a technology that maybe has already been leapfrogged by the very future it was supposed to create?